AEW World's End. So, All Elite Wrestling decided to have one more pay-per-view before the end of the year, which is very unusual, but seeing as they want to expand, it makes sense. I'm assuming the next year's going to have a bunch of pay-per-views almost every month, which I personally don't like because $50 is a lot. $20 is a lot, depends on who you're asking, and it'll kind of lead to more rushed storylines, which I don't personally like. Hopefully it doesn't go that way, but I don't know, like the way things are going in AEW at the moment doesn't seem so good. With that said, let's get into it. The first match on the show was a Continental All-Star Tag Team match. Brody King, Jay Lethal, Roosh, and Switchblade Jay White-Faced, Claudio Castagnoli, Mark Briscoe, Daniel Garcia, and Bryan Danielson. These guys were all a part of the tournament. Since they came up short, they were placed in this match. Decent action. AEW does these tag team matches a lot, and they usually deliver, and this one is no different. Daniel Garcia is finally associated with Bryan Danielson, even for a small moment, something that should have happened a while ago, and this match in general is fun. I do wish Bryan was at the very top. I think he's the very best wrestler in AEW at the moment, and seeing him anywhere other than the main event is kind of disappointing. This is mostly because of him, but he's really doing himself a disservice. Like, bro, instead of finding wrestlers, he should find himself for every month he doesn't challenge for the world title. The babyfaces won it here, which is kind of expected. He had the much more legitimate stars by the looks of it. You know, Claudio, Bryan Danielson, Mark Briscoe came in with a lot of fight as well. Good match. Solid stuff to open the show. And I hope we see that world title reign with Bryan Danielson. I know he doesn't want to do it, but like I said, he's one of the best wrestlers in the company. He most certainly deserves it. And I will be there no matter what if it were to happen. The next match is between Andrade El Idolo and Miro. So this is a loser goes to WWE match, I'm assuming. Both men haven't had the best run in AEW. Miro peaked 2 years ago. Andrade never got going. And there was a lot of rumors that it was his last match with the company. Also, why is it that Miro's always getting cucked? It's strange. The match itself was decent. I didn't really like it that much. The crowd wasn't that much into it as well. It isn't out of this world, but Andrade put in the work for what was most likely his final match in AEW. He was clearly on his way out, so Miro winning and finally reuniting with CJ Perry made sense. I just hope they don't have some nonsense story involving her turning on him again. I couldn't take her being angry serious during this match itself, and it rubs off on Miro, which isn't a good thing because, as I said, this guy had an incredible run 2 years ago. He still hasn't gotten it going since then, which that in itself is kind of doubtful. I highly doubt it's going to happen, unfortunately, but it is what it is. The next match is the AEW Women's Championship. Timeless Toni Storm defended the title against Rio. The first time champion Rio is back to challenge for the gold. Toni has Luther and Mariah May by her side to complete her character, and I thought this was a very average match. I don't have much to say about it because it felt like a TV match, something you'd see on Dynamite. Rio was never going to win the title here. She did put up a fight, but it was a simple title defense for Toni Storm. She retained the belt. She's off to newer feuds. The women's division, even in WWE this year, hasn't been the best, but AEW's was a lot worse. I didn't like the division this year. There's a lot going around. There's no clear identity as well. And I just hope it's different next year. The next match was between Swerve Strickland and Dustin Rhodes. It was supposed to be Keith Lee that faced Swerve, but he had some problems. I thought Swerve should have squashed Dustin Rhodes here to continue establishing himself as a big star, but they had too much respect for Dustin to do that. They even made it seem like he was going to make a comeback despite being attacked before the match. He almost beat Swerve, and that's when he realized he should wrap this one up and emphatically won this match. Yeah, I think he should have done a squash here. I think Swerve should have beat him in a couple of minutes. I think it would have made sense. Swerve Strickland is going to have an incredible 2024. It's most definitely going to end with at least a world title reign. He has the skills, the charisma, and is an all-around talent. So we'll see how things go. The next match is a tag team match. Sammy Guevara, Chris Jericho, Darby Allin, and Sting faced Ricky Starks, Big Bill, Konosuke Takeshita, and Powerhouse Hobbs. So, Sammy Guevara is back to being a babyface again. He left the Don Callis family, and at this point, this is more turns than Paul White. This guy's going from heel, face, heel. It's been a little too much, especially this year. Chris Jericho is in a very controversial situation. It relates to Kylie Ray and some allegations, and apparently it's from 4 years ago. So I was kind of shocked to see him on the show because regardless of if his name is clean or dirty, I thought a company like AEW would like to steer clear of any controversy. NDA chants from the crowd. They even chanted Kylie Ray's name at one point. It was awkward. It was unfortunate that one of Sting's final matches was overshadowed by Chris Jericho, and the match itself was what you expected. It wasn't special, nor were they capable of overcoming everything involving Chris Jericho. Guevara scored the victory for his team, and again, it's so funny seeing Sammy constantly turn. It shows that they don't know what to do with him. The next match was the TBS Championship. Julia Hart defending the title against Abaddon. Hart aligned herself with Sky Blue, and about this match, very dumb. The crowd got lost and didn't seem interested in watching this one, and at this point, this show was rough. I'm not gonna lie to you and say I really enjoyed it. I was kind of bored from the show. It felt so different to the previous AEW shows and lacked a true standout. This match is going up against a show that was becoming harder and harder to save, and it ended the way it was expected, with Julia Hart retaining the title, and slowly Sky Blue is becoming more and more prominent in AEW. But yeah, I didn't like this match. The crowd didn't care as well, and the last 3 matches were going to have a tougher task to them. Okay, the next match is the TNT Championship. Christian Cage faced Adam Copeland. These two are expected to turn things around, and man, did they work hard to do it. Adam Copeland's run up to this point is seen as underwhelming. He was considered a game changer for AEW, but hasn't delivered on that, and they expected far too much from him. In ring and promos, he has no problem. It's just the expectation of being a big draw. They thought he was going to be this guy that was going to lead AEW to a new era, but it hasn't happened. It hasn't been that thing that they intended it to be. Other than that, his feud with Christian's been a blood feud. It's been very intense, very brutal. Nick Wayne's mom turned heel at one point to align with Christian, which was so random. And about this match, very, very good. Edge was wearing his WrestleMania 22 jacket. They had a nice brawl inside the crowd, jumping off stuff. Adam Copeland himself was very energetic and exciting to watch. Something was up with him, I don't know what it is. Felt like he was younger again, which was weird to say. Christian was a nice heel, he was very conniving, he was dastardly. It's what you expected from him, and then some. There was blood, there was near falls, interference from Nick Wayne and his mom Shayna. At one point, poor Nick Wayne went through a table, he didn't actually go through a burning table. He almost went through it. The table flipped over, and in that moment, it was scary because I thought the table was going to flip over to him and the spot wasn't going to work well. Turns out they just botched it. They messed it up, and Adam Copeland managed to continue his momentum and beat Christian Cage to win the TNT Championship. He even told them the famous "go fuck yourself" thing from 2 months earlier. He won the title, all is well, when all of a sudden Luchasaurus came in, attacked him, and wanted to cash in his contract, when Christian begged and pleaded for him to give it to him, and in the end he did, leading to Christian winning the title, and it's like nothing happened. So that was a decision. Great match though. This was actually the match of the night, the best match on the show, because, well, they knew what the task was. They understood that they had to turn things around because the show wasn't going well. It wasn't the best show, especially for AEW standards, and Adam Copeland and Christian, they really worked hard. It's funny that they have the match of the night here despite being 50 years old. It's very impressive. It's also very funny, you know? Like, I personally didn't expect them to have match of the night. I thought they were capable of it, but I didn't really think they would have it. Turns out they proved me wrong. As for Christian win the title, it matches his heel character, but like, bruh, a lot of people have been saying WCW storyline, and it kind of is. I'm not gonna lie to you, it kind of is, because, you know, Adam Copeland's overcoming the odds, doing all of that, having a great match, by the way, only for it to be flipped upside down in a single moment. It kind of does feel WCW-esque, but at the same time, I thought it matched Christian's character, so there's that. The next match was the Continental Classic Final. Jon Moxley faced Eddie Kingston, who put up his ROH World Championship and Strong Openweight Championship. This was also for the new AEW Continental Championship, which makes the winner a Triple Crown champion. Damn. Bro, they got a lot of titles in AEW. I'm not gonna lie to you. With that said, they've been pushing Eddie Kingston hard, and it's led to this. He beat Bryan Danielson in the semifinals to get here, and it was a very stiff match here. Similar to the previous one, they knew they had to deliver, and that's exactly what happened. Mox and Kingston have a close relationship, and since this was one of Eddie's most important matches, Jon Moxley made sure to make him look like a star. He finally overcame the odds this year, and in a big match situation actually won. He beat Moxley clean with a backhand fist, and the finish was sudden but good. Because AEW doesn't often have sudden finishes, that's why I liked it. They had a nice moment where Mox hugged Kingston, and it looks like the next year's going to be his. Who knows how things will go? Mox is a team player. He's done well for himself throughout the years. This year was no different. He was putting over people more often this time around. Eddie Kingston, on the other hand, it's like his big main event push is just starting. We'll see how things go. And the main event, Maxwell Jacob Friedman defended the AEW World Championship against Samoa Joe. Joe has a huge match in the main event for the title, and it's well deserved. When he came to AEW in the beginning, he was struggling a bit. He had that heel turn, and from there, it's been great for him. MJF, on the other hand, has some problems. He's injured, his face run isn't hitting, and a lot hasn't been working. Joe, heading into this match, was revealed to be working with the devil, and that story feels like it's gone on for far too long. But with that said, let's talk about the match. This match was just there. MJF wrestled with one arm and was struggling throughout it. It wasn't as wild as this match at Full Gear or All In, and it felt like they wanted the Devil reveal to be the big main event, not this match. Samoa Joe managed to win the title, and it was a bit shocking because even though I hoped he'd win it, it seemed like he was a simple challenger. Even when the bell rang, I thought they'd reverse the decision, but he's champion, and this is his first world title in AEW. Well deserved. MJF looks exhausted and burnt out. He's injured, and this break comes at a good time. After the match, the Devil reveal happened. MJF was by his friend Adam Cole's side, who was there at ringside during the match. And suddenly the lights go out, And it turns out it's Adam Cole himself. He was the devil. The obvious decision was not the worst decision. I'm going to say it right now. Because there could have been a lot worse than Adam Cole. It's just a tough situation right now with him being injured, the whole Samoa Joe working with the devil thing. Other than that, I'm glad it's Adam Cole because, as I said, it could have been somebody else. Wardlow was by his side, the Kingdom, Roddy Strong, he isn't wearing the neck brace. They jumped MJF, and they stood tall to end the show on top. So it's nice to see that Wardlow actually has something going on nowadays. Maybe they might add Kyle O'Reilly in the future, we'll see, but Adam Cole is at his best leading a faction. Adam Cole's a leader. He's a natural leader. Him leading a faction in AEW is going to be good, by the looks of it. So yeah. Alright, that's AEW World's End. This show wasn't good. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This was actually one of the weakest AEW pay-per-views I've ever watched. And it comes down to a lot of things. Number one, they always have to have several amount of matches. They don't need to do that. The reason why they do that is obviously because it's $50 and all that, but nah. It's better if they cut a little bit of the matches and make them feel more important. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to watch a show, the pacing has to be good, and they didn't do that here. It wasn't until the last 3 matches that they actually turned things around, and even then that's a bit doubtful because the main event wasn't that good. I'm going to be honest, the main event wasn't that good. It was all about the devil reveal. But yeah, AEW has a lot to focus on from 2024, 2024. They have to realize the error of their ways, whether it's the women's division, whether it's wrestlers getting pushes and disappearing, all that. They got to fix a lot of things because it hasn't been the best year for them. With that said, the double reveal, as I said, it was always going to be too big to actually follow up on, so I'm kind of glad that it's Adam Cole. So yeah, alright, what do you guys think of AEW World's End? Please comment down below, and that's the first video. Make sure you hit the coquina clutch on the like button, and perhaps a spear on the subscribe button. Peace, I'm out.